We need to make journalism more accessible. We've already made a lot of really good progress, right? We have subtitles for people who are hard of hearing or deaf. We have alt text for images on news stories, where if you're using a screen reader because you're blind or hard of sight, you can have the screen reader describe the image in the news story to you. And all of those things are great, but I think that we can go even further beyond. How do we universalize journalism so that we can tell a story in a way that anyone, anywhere can understand? How do we do it in such a way that journalism transcends boundaries and nations and languages? We need a universal language, a system that anyone, anywhere can pick up with no training and understand how it works and what it does immediately. And the solution is this. This is the future of journalism. Now I know what you're thinking. Harry, that's crazy. You're a sociopath. Put down the hammer. We have you surrounded. But here's the thing. The key to the hammer is abstraction. Abstraction is a concept that's commonly used in programming when you're trying to reduce a complicated concept to its kind of basic components to make it easier to produce that thing at scale. So let's say you're making like a video game with a bunch of enemies, right? And you don't want to go through the hassle of coding each enemy individually, because that's A, way too intensive on the CPU. That's not very cool, not very epic, and not very gamer. And B, it's going to take you forever to code all the enemies. Who has time for, I don't know, who cares? So you reduce the workload by creating a single set of code called just enemy, right? And you just put all of the logic for your enemy in that tiny little box. And then when you're making an enemy, you take that code, jiggle it a little bit, and then put it back into the game. And that's how you make a bunch of enemies at scale, right? That's abstraction. What does that mean here? Well, the key to the hammer system, the patented hammer system, is that we take a news story and abstract it far enough that we reduce it to simplistic enough components that we can represent it with the hammer, right? It's very simple, very straightforward, very cool. But how do we abstract a news story? Well, turns out the solution is hard-coded into the English language, which is cool. Basically, all sentences are structures of subjects, verbs, and objects, which means all news stories are functions of those sentences, right? So all news stories are subjects acting on objects. And that's really easy to visualize. For instance, Donald Trump, World Health Organization. Donald Trump leaves the World Health Organization, right? Donald Trump, World Health Organization. Are you getting it yet? Now I know what you're thinking. Harry, this can't possibly work for all journalism. Well, that's where you're wrong, Sweaty. Sports journalism. Manchester United 3, Leicester 0. Manchester United, goal. I'm not crazy. Now, to prove that the system is truly universal and works on any news story, here's 5 completely random news stories chosen from random news organizations across the world to prove that this system can work on any story anywhere, right? It's simple and it proves that it works and that I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not. So if you're a news organization who wants to use the hammer system, DM me, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to me on YouTube, and maybe I'll let you borrow the hammer for just a little while. Otherwise, I don't know, I guess I'll put it back on my shelf and never look at it again. This is a really wasteful segment. Goodbye.